We now welcome in Antonio Daniels, NBA champ, Sirius XM NBA radio, and Pelicans TV analyst.
Yes, sir.
Antonio, say hi to JR. Welcome to the Odd Couple, buddy.
What's up,
JR, what's
Tonyo?
up, brother? Rob Parker. How are you?
How you, buddy? You good?
Yes. I can't complain at all, man. Blessed.
No
Very,
doubt.
very blessed.
I feel the same way, man. Things are good, and we got a couple of NBA things we definitely want to talk about. Kevin Durant made his debut with the Suns. How good can that team be? Are they coming out of the West, or we're jumping the gun here, Antonio?
Well, here's the thing. The reason I don't think it's jumping the gun is because who it is. You know, when I say who it is, I'm not referring to the skill set of Kevin Durant. I'm talking about the fact that we've seen Kevin Durant just seamlessly blend in with anyone, right? We're seeing Kyrie Irving and Luka kind of struggle to find their rhythm together in Dallas, because that's not an easy thing to do, right? When you have a guy that's accustomed to shouldering offensive responsibility, you put him with another guy that's accustomed to shouldering offensive responsibility, a lot of times that's going to lead to confusion. But what you saw with Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City, he was good. He left Oklahoma City, went to Golden State, blended in with KD and Klay Thompson and all those guys
Steph,
to the
right.
tune of 2 championships and 2 finals MVP. Then he leaves there and he goes to play with Kyrie Irving and James Harden, and it's good. Then James Harden leaves and he's playing with Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, and it's good. So he's the type of guy that it doesn't matter who you put him with, he's going to be fine. I think that team is so incredibly dangerous because they were able to acquire Kevin Durant without getting rid of their top 3 players, which to me was crazy. Yes, right now I don't think it's jumping the gun by saying this team could easily come out and represent the West.
JR, let me jump in before
Sure.
you go. I want to follow up on what you talked about in the Dallas situation with Kyrie and Luka there. It's been a struggle so far. Not close to what people might have thought. Can that work? Is this just an adjustment period, or what is Dallas?
I'm not dodging your question, Rob. I'm just going to respond with a question. When you say, can that work, what's the definition of work?
I mean, can they make a serious playoff run? Like, I'm not saying
What
they got to
series?
win the title, like get to the Western
back to the
Conference
Western Conference
Finals.
Finals?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, to me, I think that's very difficult to do. They did it last year, and a lot of things had to go right. I just don't think that this team is constructed the exact same way.
And they don't play defense, Antonio, right? They don't play
exactly.
defense.
And what you see now, though, is teams are ridding themselves of those defensive guys for offensive players. You know, we saw the Knicks do it. Now Bullock is in Dallas. We saw the Mavericks do it. Now Dorian Finney-Smith is gone. You know what I mean? So, and these are the guys, I think, when you start talking about making a playoff run, the guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, the guys like Mikal Bridges, these kind of guys. Even though Mikal Bridges, I feel like, is different because you're talking about Kevin Durant. But when you start to guard or have to guard the Kawhi Leonards, the Paul Georges, you know, the Lukas, all these kind of guys, the Brandon Ingrams, you need these 3-and-D guys, these guys that are willing to play their role on the defensive side of the basketball. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be really tough for Dallas because, for me, it's not just about Dallas. It's what some of the teams around the Dallas Mavericks have done to improve as well.
Yeah, Antonio, good stuff. Moving on from Dallas and the Suns, you see a lot of talk about the Clippers, right? Actually, can they actually live up to the hype? Like, I don't really understand what the infatuation is with the Clippers. I saw they were favored to come out of the West. You know, Kawhi's just coming back, Paul George. What do you see as a realistic level that the Clippers can get to this year?
JR, I'm with you. I struggle with this. I do know who Kawhi Leonard is.
Right.
It seems to be right now. I love what Paul George said a couple of days ago. We talked about that on my Sirius XM radio show. You know, he's okay being Robin because he thinks that that's the best version of who he is, and I can dig that. I don't know. I know they have championship aspirations, but I don't know what this team is truly capable of. is one of those teams that no matter what they've done and who is on this roster, there's always a huge if attached to it.
Right.
If this guy's healthy, if this guy's healthy, if these guys can play 50 or 60 games together, so it's a lot of ifs. And now you throw in a wild card in Russell Westbrook. So that's another if that you add. How will Russell Westbrook's skill set blend with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George?
Right.
Because Russell has played well, but they haven't won a game yet. And that's not on Russell. That's just on a team that's trying to find their identity with Russell Westbrook.
Right.
So to answer your question, I'm not sure.
Let me ask you about we got news on LeBron James today that it's going to be 3 weeks before he's reevaluated his right foot injury. Can the Lakers stay in this without him? They're 1-1. They did come back and beat the Thunder on the road. That was a big win without LeBron or AD. But can they? There's 20 games left. If LeBron misses 3 weeks, that might be 9 or 10 games. And can they hang on and make the playoffs or play it?
Well, here's the thing. If he misses 3 weeks, he's supposed to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So 3 weeks, when we talk about reevaluation, the thing
you're right. He's not going to play right after that. You're right.
Right. So you're talking about a month. But I'm not going to lie to you. Because it's LeBron James, because of the hype that's around his injury, would it surprise you if LeBron James returned in 2 weeks?
Not totally. It would not.
Me neither. Because he has a flair for the dramatic, especially now, understanding what's at stake for the Los Angeles Lakers. If
they're in
LeBron
contention.
James is out for a month, yes. But if LeBron James is out for a month, I don't think so. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't, because I think he is that important to the overall success of this team. I can't say that LeBron James is doing what I haven't seen a 38-year-old athlete do in this league in my lifetime. Right? And then he's gone and say, oh, you know what, they'll be fine. It's business as usual. That means I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth.
Right.
Nope,
Right,
I don't
JR,
I think when you lose LeBron that they'll struggle.
You got one more, JR?
Sure, yep.
All right,
yes.
we got about a minute to go here, Antonio. Go ahead.
Okay, we're talking about the West again. It's funny, okay? You have a guy in Joker that's supposed to be, he's the 2-time MVP. He's about to be the 3rd MVP 3 in a row. Talk about him a little bit, and does Denver have what it takes, and should a guy be winning MVPs if he has a team good enough to win, and he doesn't?
But here's my thing about the MVP, because we've talked about this ad nauseum since the J.J. Redick and Kendrick Perkins conversation. To me, the MVP conversation is like the GOAT conversation. I don't think there's any true way of – it's all about what you like, what you value, and what you see. That's why if you have a conversation about the GOAT, it's always, oh, well, somebody will say Kareem, somebody will say LeBron, somebody will say Michael, somebody will say Kobe. Have a conversation about the MVP. Yep. Somebody will say Jokic, somebody will say Tatum, you can go down the list. Somebody will say Giannis, somebody will say Embiid. For me, I get the infatuation about these conversations. I just think they're dead-end debates, right? I love Jokic. I think he makes everybody on the floor better, but so does Joel Embiid, so does Jason Tatum, so does Giannis Antetokounmpo. These guys carry an enormous amount of gravity with them. So I hear you. I just think it's a tough debate and conversation to have.
Antonio, I think he's going to win his 3rd, and I'm going to tell you why. The younger writers and the analytics, his numbers are better than they were the last 2 years when he won.
True.
If they don't,
I'm not saying you're wrong, Rob. I'm not.
You know what? I'm not saying I agree with that.
Right, I hear you.
But I'm saying they will be hard pressed to go against what they've been doing. Do you know what I mean? Like if you value that.
But you're also looking at a dude, just making a case. You're looking at a dude in Giannis. They won 16 games in a row, and he'll be the best player on the best team that has the best stats, right? But the thing that you have to take into consideration when you look at the totality of all of this, I love Nikola Jokic, right? Never seen a center pass like him. He is by far the best passer of all 4 of those guys in the MVP conversation, correct? He's the best passer, but he's also the worst defender out of all 4 of those guys in the MVP conversation. The difference is there's an actual stat for passing. There is no realistic stat for defense.
There's no defense.
There you go.
Statistics.
Yep, there you go. That's a great point. Antonio Daniels, always, thanks for the knowledge. Yep. We appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
Thanks.
For sure. Appreciate you, brother.
No doubt. All right.